Welcome to DBT, and I'm going to start off today's mindfulness exercise with, well, go ahead and close your eyes, focus on your breathing. You want to do a little meditation. So you're at a railroad track, and the trains are going by. And they got their rhythm, they're just going by. Focus on your breathing. And as the train cars go by, describe or label each car that's going by. Just a thought, an emotion. Just label that car as it goes by. Try not to jump on that car. Try not to attach to the emotion or the thought. Just label each car as it goes by. The rhythm of the tracks. Train going by. Label thoughts, emotions. Okay, come back to the room. I'll start. I found it very centering. I was able to put different words and thoughts on the train, just let it go, and it took nervousness out of me. It put other emotions where they belong. Anybody else have their comment on what they got out of the exercise? Did it work for them? Didn't it work for them?
Yeah, it worked.
It worked? You liked it?
Yeah.
Okay. Steve?
It's pretty common.
It was calming?
Yeah, it was really relaxing to me. I started getting into like sleepy, exhausted, and then it was like really making me tired.
Gotta watch how you label that.
Yeah.
Hi, Francis.
Hi, how are you?
That's fine. Have
I
a
started
seat.
giving them more energy. Feelings.
Energy.
Feelings.
Okay, so that was the, you know, and with each one of these mindfulness activities, they might work for you, they might not. You know, that's why I try a different one each week. And they're great because they're short and they center you. They bring you to the here and now. They bring you to the present. So last week we worked on what emotions do for us and how to name emotions. And our homework, you had the option of choosing from 2 different worksheets. And
Where are we at? Handouts?
no, we're going over our homework. And you either had to do, excuse me, for reaching into this deep. I can't flip the page. If I was able to flip a page, I'd be doing good. You either did this worksheet or this worksheet, okay? So you can look at them and see if you have anything to contribute to class. So you either did worksheet 2 or you did worksheet 3. I chose worksheet 2. And before I start, does anybody want to share their homework? Or do you guys want me to start?
This is the emotion diary worksheet too?
Yeah.
Okay. I had a few like stronger emotions this week. One of them was like frustration from at work. Just like I'm in food industry and we just got like robbed essentially. Just everybody came in within 10 minutes and filled up the whole restaurant and things didn't go well on both sides. And so like I became overwhelmed and agitated. I was like, essentially how that frustration motivated my me to become that, essentially overwhelmed, agitated, not performing to my highest anymore, just letting it get the best of me. Communicating to others, my body language became like fast and kind of angry. My face was all tensed up. Like it was extremely obvious to everyone around me that I was upset.
Okay.
What my message? messages my emotions expressed to others, that I was angry and upset, that no one could help me, that I was just gonna keep feeling this way until I figured it out. So instead of asking for help, to be less overwhelmed or, trying to take control of what was going on, I just kind of let it go to me, and that was the message I was sending through my body language. My effect of my emotions on others, people were concerned, possibly annoyed that I was like acting this way and not trying to like feel better, and not listening to their help, so.
Mm-hmm.
And what my emotions saying to me, that I was overwhelmed. It was essentially the frustration of being overwhelmed was telling me you should get help, take a break, whatever, but not necessarily that I did that, but like that's what it was trying to tell me. And what did the facts say? After I calmed down, about 20 minutes later, and I was like sleeping and trying to finish out the night, I just realized it was just food. It's one bad night, and it's almost over.
Right, okay,
So
okay. So by doing the worksheet, did it give you insight in how you carry an emotion, or?
yeah, definitely. As much as like you look back and you're upset with having that emotion, like it doesn't happen every night, doesn't happen every day, but sometimes
Right.
it does. And I think looking back and seeing how I had the emotion, but it didn't like, by the end of the night, I had come to terms with it, I think,
Right.
and realized it, and showing that like I had the ability to overcome it, even though I was in it really strongly for the moment.
Right, and like the next time you get slammed, do you think you'll be able to identify and react differently?
Definitely, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it depends on what
Right,
the
right. But good, you at least.
trigger is, but
Okay,
still,
yeah.
I could probably have been like, it's okay, take a break, just cover my tables for a minute, and if I had just taken that break, as opposed to being like, it's me against the world, I
Right.
would have probably recovered a lot faster.
Okay. Thank you for the share, Francis, I appreciate that. Anybody else have a share?
I do.
Okay, go ahead, Christine.
My big emotion that I felt the most this past week was just contentment. It motivated me to keep things the way they are. It was expressed by a calm and happy expression, which conveyed that to others that I was satisfied. Affected my emotion on others, specifically my husband. I'd say he was content too. And it was saying to me that everything's going well, and I didn't really fact check it.
Right.
I didn't.
But it's just being aware of how you're affecting someone else.
Mhm.
Good. And that's, important too. It doesn't have to be the intense emotion.
Mhm.
It can be just being aware of your emotion. 'Cause I know it always asks for the intensity. My homework share for the week is what the emotion did for me. And emotion was happy. The intensity wasn't at 85, so it was high. And I was just engaged in a conversation with a coworker, and we got on the topic of my daughter and the wedding, and that makes me extremely happy. And you're like, well, what's the problem with that? Well, when it hits that intensity, my warning signals go off of, am I being effective with the emotion? So I wanted to make sure I wasn't too overly excited about it, that I wasn't oversharing with my coworker. So what was my body language? My body language was relaxed, it was animate, always with my hands. I wanted to convey the fact that weddings are a positive experience. I didn't want them to get the overwhelmed experience of, oh my God. What was my facial expression? I was animated, relaxed, had good eye contact. What was the message and emotion? I was trying just to convey the fact it's a lot of energy to get something like that together. What was the facts I checked? The facts I checked was, yeah, I'm excited about it, but am I trying to make, I don't have to make the other person excited about it, This is my happiness. I'm not trying to force my happiness onto somebody else. Am I oversharing it? keep it short, Bear. Keep it short. You don't have to go into every detail. So I just wanted to make sure the conversation was a give and take, in that I wasn't over inundating somebody with the happiness, which you can, because somebody be like, really, tone it down. Which because I am borderline personality disorder, sometimes toning down emotion is exactly what I have to do. So whether it's, when it hits at 85, I gotta look and see where I'm at. So that was my emotion that I shared for homework. So with that said, let's go to today's lesson.
What page?
Emotion regulation, handout. Handout, I think 8. So you need to go back a few pages, Stephen. So today we're going to talk about emotions fitting the facts, and the first page.
Mine skips from 4 to 9. Oh, here, I see. You have the 4 in there, like
That's okay. But what we're going to work on first.
8B.
No, we're not going to work on the A first. We're going to work on 8 first.
Sounds good.
They're a little out of order. I apologize for that. So we're going to work on checking the facts. So last week I went over that emotions are reactions.
To environmental stimulus?
Yes, are reactions to the environment. Emotions are never the facts. Okay? And the facts are
If you feel
who?
scared, there's something
That's your reaction. If you're scared, that's your reaction. If your anxiety hits, that's your reaction.
All right.
The fact is who, what, when, and where. So those are the facts, okay? And emotions are reactions to those facts. The emotion itself is not the fact, okay? So what we're going to talk about today is checking the facts. So when we check the facts, handout 8, facts. Many emotions and actions are set off by our thoughts and interpretations of events, not by the events themselves. Events lead to thoughts, thoughts lead to emotions. Or our emotions can also have a big effect on our thoughts about events. Like the event sets up an emotion, and then we have the thoughts. So, it can work either way. And, but either way, our emotions are still the reaction to the events. So how to check the facts? Ask, what is the emotion I want to change? Do you need to change your emotion? 2, ask, what is the event prompting the emotion? Describe the facts you observed through your senses. Challenge judgments, absolutes, black and white descriptions. So let's go through an example with this. Let's say I'm driving my car and I am close to having a panic attack because I'm blocked in by 2 semis. And what is the emotion I want to change? Well, my emotion is panic. I want to change that. Okay? What is the event prompting the emotion? That I'm boxed in by my car is boxed in by these trucks. Okay? Think about possible interpretations. Practice looking at all sides of the situations and the point of view. Test your interpretations and assumptions to fit the facts. Okay. Facts. I'm just boxed in, and it's only a temporary situation. It's only going to last 15 to 30 seconds. My mind somehow, though, can make it to, oh my God, I'm going to die, I'm going to be in a wreck. I just catastrophized the whole event. That does not fit the facts. So the emotion I want to change is the panic. In interpretation, like the true interpretation, the true facts are this is a temporary situation. Am I assuming a threat? Yes, I am assuming a threat. I'm assuming I'm going to die. I'm assuming I'm going to be in a collision. That's the catastrophe. And does my emotion and or the intensity fit the actual facts? If I go into panic, no, it doesn't fit the facts. The facts are, it's only temporary. Tell yourself to breathe. Take 3 deep breaths, Mary. Start talking to yourself. I got this. Start breathing. Tell myself, you got this, girl. This is only temporary. You can drive through it. No need for a panic attack. So that's how I check the facts. I avoid the urge of going into the panic attack and just keep it to feeling the anxiety. So that's what check the facts is about. Do I have any questions or comments about checking the facts? Because, yes, Christina.
Comment. Well, I did this PTSD therapy and I was specialized to do these worksheets, and it's very similar on Check the Fax, so that's kind of cool.
Oh, so you okay. I'm glad the information is
Yeah,
compatible.
What was this, do you know what it was called, the therapy?
I know they do it at UC Psychiatry, but and if you call them, you could find out what exactly it's called. But
I was just curious, because
Yeah.
like someone told me about it recently and they forgot the name too, so I was just like curious.
yeah, I forgot.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. But yeah, so when you're checking the facts, what a big part of this is, does your intensity match the facts? And we'll turn the page to go to the front page on AA, where you got examples of emotions that fit the facts. So like fear. Fear, there's a threat to your life or someone you care about. That's an example of fear matching the facts. But that fear doesn't match the fact when I think I'm going to imminently die because I'm boxed in by 2 trucks. That doesn't match. Fear that my sister's going to have surgery and it's going to take about 4 to 6 hours. That's an example that fits the facts for fear. Anger. An important goal is being blocked or desired activity is interrupted or prevented. That can give you anger. And that's appropriate. Irritation. But the fact when the intensity is too high that you want to throw something or scream at somebody, maybe the anger is not fitting the facts. So does the intensity fit the facts? And it goes over disgust, envy, jealousy, and other emotions that you see there. And how likely, and the thing for the intensity and duration of the emotion that we're talking about is justified by how likely the expected outcomes will occur, how great and or important the outcomes are, and how effective is the emotion in your life now. So for example, we'll go back to the trucks that block me while I'm driving. Is the panic going to be effective while I'm driving? No, not really. Is my anxiety rising a little bit, much more effective? The intensity matches the situation? Yes. That's just, emotions go up and down. But it shouldn't have to spike all the way up here and then. So the intensity of the emotion has to fit the facts as well as the emotion fitting the facts. Example, my water heater blew. I had water all over the house. And I freaked. I wigged. I called my daughter. I was in panic. I was probably yelling at her. I wanted her at my place right now, blah, blah, blah. Oh my God, the poor girl was at the store doing her grocery shopping. And finally she's just like, Mom, breathe. Was I breathing throughout this entire thing? No. I took some calming breaths and we were able to have a conversation. And we talked about it. Yeah, Mom, call the plumber, deal with the water. I'll come over tomorrow. We'll see, assess the situation. and life was a lot better. So my intensity to my reaction of the water heater breaking was not appropriate. It was example of way out. Example of the emotion fitting the facts, about just a couple months ago, my alternator went out in my car. And I drove into work, my car kind of cut out in the parking lot, and I was kind of wigged out. That's my transportation. That's going to be an expensive fix. But I got in here, and I wasn't too freaked out. You know, I told co-workers what was happening, made the call to the tow company. I was a little, you know, haven't done that. I was anxious. I was, you know, freaking out a little bit that my car doesn't work. How much is this going to cost me? But I handled the situation so much differently. I wasn't yelling. I wasn't emoting, trashing my emotion on anybody else. I handled it. My emotion fit the facts. I dealt with it so much better than when the water heater blew. So that's examples of intensity matching and not matching. Does anybody want to share their intensities that might have matched or not matched? No? Okay.
No, like I was hit by a car, rear-ended on the highway once, so whenever anybody's tailgating me, I try to use the tip skill you gave us to like put my hand against the window and get that cold against the window, and that helps calm me down. So that kind of reminds me that, you know, I don't need to panic so much and calm down. They're not gonna hit me. They'll go around.
Yeah, keep the intensity, your reaction, yeah.
In
Yeah.
check.
Yeah, so, but yeah, so that's just one of the things. So, you know, with check the facts, you know, does the intensity of the emotion fit the facts? You know, that's something we got to question ourselves on and look at. So the next worksheet, Emotion Regulation Handout 9, talks about opposite action. So opposite action is deciding which to use. Opposite action is acting opposite to an emotion's action urge. Okay? It's problem solving, avoiding or changing, solving the problem event. So you're going to ask yourself, does this emotion fit the facts? Does anybody have something they want to choose, or you guys just want me to go with the water heater blue?
Well,
Maybe a kid broke their arm.
A kid broke their arm. Okay, a kid broke their arm. Kid fell, arms all askew, and you know what you gotta do. Gotta call the doctor. You know your emotion is high. You're in an emergency situation. You don't want to freak out the kid with the broken arm. You want to be effective. You want to get help for the child. You know, so you don't want your fear to take over and you shut down and don't do anything. So, does the emotion fit the facts? Yes. Are you able to dial 911? Yes. Are you able to provide soothing care for the child? It's okay. Breathe, relax. We're going to the doctor. Does it not fit? Are you so freaked out you don't know what to do? Well, let's say we are effective and we're acting on emotion more effective. So check wise mind. Are we in wise mind? If we say yes, be mindful of the current emotions, act on the emotion urge. So we're acting on getting ice on the arm. We're acting on calling the doctor. Do we need to go to the doctor? Do we need to go to the ER? You know, how do you want us to handle this event? Problem solve unwanted emotions. You know, if you realize you're majorly freaking out, start talking. You know, if you hit that 85 intensity, start talking to yourself. Remember to breathe. You know, if it's not ineffective, if you find yourself not being in wise mind, you know, do not act on the pure panic. Consider the opposite action. And we're going to go into what the opposite action and emotions are here in a second. It's the next handout. So, let's say we check the facts to the situation, and does our emotion fit the facts? No. And let's say we're all freaked out that Johnny broke his arm, and we're just in emotion mind. We're shutting ourselves down. If we're not in wise mind, do not act on that thought. Do not get caught up in the emotion mind. A lot easier said than done, but try not to. Change thoughts to fit the facts, what we just talked about. Do opposite action. If you're acting on emotion and it is effective, be mindful of the current emotion, act, but accept the consequences greatly, and reconsider opposite action. I got the ice on his arm. I called the doctor, he said to take him to the emergency room. So we're going to the emergency room. Okay, now the fear is coming in my mind. Does he go and need surgery? Does he go? No. Go to opposite action, replace it, be effective in the emergency situation. Do I breathe? Do I start positive self-talk to myself? So this is a chart to look at if something's coming up in your life, go to this chart to see how you want to react, how you want to interact with the situation. If Friday night's going to slam you at work, look at this chart ahead of time. Ask yourself, is this emotion going to be effective? If not, what do I want to do? Do I want to breathe? Do I want to do positive self-talk? So this is a great chart to look at ahead of time if a situation is going to be stressful for yourself. So flip the page to Emotion Regulation Handout 10, and we're still in opposite action. Now, just like last week when we had the handout that we could name our emotions and what the emotions did for us, this helps us to go through the opposite action. And it goes through fear, anger, sadness, shame. It goes through all of them. And so how do you do opposite action? So identify and name the emotion. Okay, the broken arm, fear. Or let's make it panic. Check the facts. Is panic going to be effective? No. Johnny's arm's broken, Johnny's in pain, Johnny needs attention. Identify and describe your action urges. My urge is to, in this situation, is to call the doctor, is to see where I need to go, is to put the ice. I'm not going to overly freak out. Ask wise mind, am I in wise mind? Am I handling the situation correctly?
What exactly is wise mind?
Wise mind is you have emotion mind and you have rational mind.
Left and right brain?
Yes, and when you're in wise mind, you're using both. You're being the most effective you can be. And you're doing no more than the situation asks for and no less than the situation asks for. That's your wise mind, and the challenge is to be there. Okay. So ask wise mind, am I acting on this emotion effectively or not? If your emotion does not fit the facts or is not effective, identify the opposite actions to your action urge. Are you totally freaking out and not able to act? Well, what do I need to do to act? I need to breathe. I need to talk to myself. So act opposite all the way. And that's the important part, all the way, not part of the way. You got to act opposite all the way. I can handle this broken arm situation. I'm in charge. I can do this. Not, oh my God, I don't know if I can, I don't know if I can't. No, that's letting the emotion get in. I can handle this. Repeat acting opposite to your action urges until the emotion changes. And once you find yourself giving the ice, making the phone calls, you'll find out that you're in the zone of wise mind and taking care, with a high intensity, obviously, because you're dealing with an emergency situation, but you're acting from the wise mind perspective. Does that make sense? Okay. So, handout 11. I'm doing all the talking today, I'm sorry. Handout 11 is figuring out the opposite actions for emotions. And I'm going to ask you guys, what emotion do you guys deal with that you want to work on? For me, when I was taking DBT, it was fear. I had to figure out what the opposite action for fear was. Because for me, fear frequently equaled panic. And I had to realize the difference between panic and fear. So, is there an emotion that you guys want to go over to see how you would deal with the opposite of it? Do you want fear? Do you want anger, disgust, envy, jealousy, love?
I would be down with fear, anger, or sadness.
Okay, fear, anger, sadness. We'll use those. Okay, we got time. Fear. Fit the facts of the situation wherever there's a threat. Okay, now these are going to be the appropriate. Your life, or that someone you care about. Your health, or that someone you care about. Your well-being, or that someone you care about. So that's when the fear fits the facts. Follow these suggestions when your fear is not justified by the facts or not effective. You want to give an example, Francis, of?
When my fear is not justified, facts are not effective. Honestly, like yesterday, I feel like I was really fearful of being a failure at a workshop I was doing, and it was obviously not effective because I was still going out and doing the workshop regardless. So even if it didn't turn out good, I still got paid, I still had a good time, and no one there was good no differently. So
And you were effective, so you're saying your fear was a lot higher than?
yeah, it feels a lot higher than it needed to be, I guess.
Okay, so it sounds like you did well with it.
So mostly it was just trying to get through. Once she handed me the paycheck, I was like, and I'm okay with failing a little bit now. But still, the fear was there the entire time.
Yeah, the fear was there the entire time. So you do the opposite of your fearful action urges. For example, do what you're afraid of doing. You were giving the presentation. You kept doing the presentation over and over again. So
even when it kept failing.
was the failing actual, or was it just your perception skewed?
So like I was doing a PowerPoint, and then like the PowerPoint kept messing up.
Okay, so that was the PowerPoint messing up. That wasn't your skill.
Yeah.
Okay, so
it felt like it was my failure because I should have practiced, even though it was the facts don't fit, that it wasn't.
Right, and it wasn't the end of the world that the PowerPoint didn't work. It wasn't,
Yeah.
And you kept going on. You were going over it, so that's effective. Approach events, places, tasks, and activities you are afraid of. So you were in your fearful spot, and you were approaching it. Do things to give yourself a sense of control and mastery over your fears. And it sounds like you were doing that.
Yeah. I'm not a great public speaker.
Right, you're not, but you just said you're not a great public speaker. I could call you out and say judgment on that.
Yeah. But I still did it so I could learn mastery over that, because.
Right, you can learn mastery, and it was a step in being. So all the way, opposite actions for fear. Step 4 is to keep your eyes and ears open and focused on the feared event. Look around slowly, explore. Were people's reactions, you might have had high fear, but were people's reactions they weren't.
They weren't bad, there were some good ones, there were some bad ones, there was just some neutral, so I did like, you know, take account of everything that was happening as it was happening and trying to.
Right, so the overall, it was positive, it wasn't, you know, so you have that to look at, so look around the whole situation. You know, it says taking information from the situation. Notice that you were safe. You were, you weren't in a negative environment. So you know, the next thing for all the way opposite action is change your posture and keep a confident voice tone. And this is so important. Good posture. Okay, everybody, right now, if you're slouched, you're slouched. If you're not, you're not. Straighten up your posture.
He said that and I immediately was like,
Straighten up your posture. Now, straighten up your posture. Take note of how you feel. Take note of how it feels. Now, slouch, just slouch. Okay. How's that feel? Put on the positive posture. And you got these, all of a sudden these endorphins are out. I don't know what the proper term is, but you know, your eye contact's better, your voice changes, you know. So I can't express how much proper posture keeps you in control of the situation. It helps make this situation more effective. So by changing your posture, you change your body chemistry. But like, let's say, you know, you were doing the thing, and I'm sure you were breathing. You were focusing on, you know, by doing the deep breathing exercises, you were changing your body chemistry. You know, by being where you clenched, where you tensed up, that's telling your body chemistry something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just like, you know, if you kept the good posture, which I'm sure you probably did, because I'm sure you gave an effective.
There were, I think 6 and 7 I definitely didn't take care of as much, for sure, mostly because of the fact that I did make eye contact sometimes, my body was sitting upright enough, but like there were times where I would feel flustered with what I was reading, and I got off where I was, and I was just kind of rambling, and then my body posture would change a little bit, just be like this, or I wouldn't look down, or, and I'm not really sure if I was necessarily breathing. I was trying to, but it was a lot of like,
well, that's good.
spitting words out as fast as possible.
and that's
Because I was late. That was like part of why the fear.
So
I was super late.
So you had to get rid of the running late, and that's like when we started. That's why we do I try to do a mindfulness exercise to start every class off, because it centers us. It brings us here. You know, so if you're running late, if you're nervous or anxious before you come in, you know, it centers you. You know, so I think the challenge, and it's a challenge for me too, is making sure it's all the way opposite action. You know, if you want to do it all the way, you could have kept your posture good. You know, if you're doing it all the way, you would have, you know, got rid of the emotion mind of the being late. You know what I'm saying? Easier said than done. I'm not judging, you know, but so that's how you would work through fear. And like I said, the biggest thing is posture. You know, example, we'll go back to me and my trucks, where I think I'm going to die because I'm beatboxing in my trucks. I'll guarantee you, I'm tight. I'm not breathing properly. I'm not. And as soon as I take 3 deep breaths and I say, I got this, girl, and I keep talking to myself, then it goes down to where it should be, anxiety. You know, I have to do it all the way, you know. So that's another way of figuring out opposite action for fear. Okay? Does anybody have a fear one they want to share, or anybody else have a good relationship with fear as I seem to?
I do, I'm just trying to think of an example, because there's a lot of examples.
Okay.
I guess I have a fear of leaving the house sometimes.
And what would be the opposite action?
Leave the house.
Okay, so you leave the house and do it, and something you not do over and over again, as you plan something for yourself to do over and over again.
Yeah.
Okay. So what would be an all the way opposite action for it?
So I guess it says like to focus on it and just leave the house and find something good about it, I guess.
Well, it says look around slowly, explore. You know, is there a perceived threat? Is there an actual danger? You know, that's, you know, you're looking around and exploring your environment for those things. And then you go on from that information, you know, checking the facts. Do you have, changing your posture, you know, or doing paced breathing? Do you see how those would help you on?
Yeah.
I could see like changing your posture, like, I mean, we don't really pay attention to our posture, I think, when like we're going from place to place, but like when you're moving into a new public area, like immediately being like, before I step in the door, I'm gonna try to put on a good face.
Yeah, don't tense up.
Yeah, 'cause it's hard, because I mean, you walk into the room and you get all those new stimuli, so
Right,
tempting to like, even if it's fake it till you make it, like posture and confidence.
right, right.
And then go back to 4, keep
Right.
your eyes open.
So you could see yourself using this.
Yeah.
What would you change? What would you breathe? What would you say to yourself? What positive reinforcement things? I mean, you got it, girl. I mean, what's your go-to statement?
It'll be okay. I like to tell myself that.
It'll be okay. Yep, it'll be okay. And if you gotta say it 100 times over, say it 100 times over. You know. So the next one they talked about you want to do is the opposite anger, the opposite emotion for anger. So anger fits the facts. Who wants to read? I've been reading a whole lot. Who wants to read when anger fits the facts?
I can.
Okay.
Anger fits the facts of a situation whenever an important goal is blocked or desired activity is interrupted or prevented. You or someone you care about is attacked or hurt by others. You or someone you care about is insulted or threatened by others. The integrity or status of your social group is offended or threatened.
I got anger once a while back ago.
So your anger is something you gotta deal with?
Yeah.
Okay. So, follow these suggestions when your anger is not justified by the facts. My anger is not justified by the facts because I'm not having a goal blocked. Someone I care about is not being hurt. Nobody's insulted, or the integrity isn't threatened. So for me, I would get extremely angry when my daughter missed curfew. And I mean 5 minutes late and I was off the charts angry. Did it fit the facts? No, it doesn't fit the facts of what's justified for anger. So what do I have to do for all the way opposite action for the anger? Imagine understanding and empathy for the person. You know, step into the other person's shoes. Try to see the situation from the other person's point of view. Maybe her ride home wasn't going to get her home on time. Or maybe, maybe she truly just lost track of time. Or maybe, I wouldn't think of what's her perspective. Change my posture. Oh my God, if I had changed my posture and would have practiced breathing, would have practiced and not closed my mind, because all I'm focused on is that clock and every second that's going past broken curfew. No, I'm not being open-minded. So I need to change my posture, change my body chemistry. So on the rare times that I didn't approach her with anger, I wish I had known this when she was breaking curfew instead of acting inappropriately. Change your body chemistry. If I would have said, I got this, I can handle this with her, we can talk about this, instead of me going off, my anger did not fit the facts. I'm sorry, Kirsten. all the way opposite action would have been changing my body posture, not narrowly focusing in on that clock. Change my body chemistry. And if I wanted to change the emotion, I would have changed it to, I would have changed the intensity, definitely changed the intensity. And the emotion I wanted would have been, let's see here. I think if I had kept it at an appropriate fear level, more so than an anger level, or the anger would have been an irritation instead of the intensity of the anger I had, it would have been a lot more appropriate. So that would have been all the way opposite anger. Does anybody else have an anger when they want to share how they could do opposite action or have done opposite action?
I have one.
Okay.
But it's more, the anger is justified, but it's not effective.
Okay.
My mom was abusive when I was a kid, and I'm still angry about it.
Okay.
So,
So you're hanging on to it.
yeah, I don't want to hang on to it, but I am.
Okay. And what would be your opposite?
Being nice to her. I am nice to her. It just doesn't seem to be helping, though. Avoiding her could be, I'm not sure if I should avoid her, but I'm not being mean usually,
Mm-hmm.
but I just, being kind to her just feels hypocritical.
Right. So you're still judging her on the past.
Yeah.
And that's quite honestly normal, but if you let that anger interfere, which it sounds like you're not, so kudos to you, excellent.
But it's always there, and I feel it, and I don't want to feel it
And-
all the time.
Okay, here's the thing, you said you don't want to feel it.
Yeah.
Emotions aren't wrong, okay, so when you feel that anger, it's not right or wrong, it's there,
Yeah.
okay? And the emotion is going to have a beginning, a middle, and an end, okay? So that's normal. And you're choosing to do the opposite. You're choosing to be kind. So you are practicing opposite all the way. Now, the fact that you still feel that emotion is truly normal. Okay, so don't, if you're acting on it from the past, then it would be questioned. Am I making sense?
Yeah, I sometimes act on it, but I don't always act on it.
Right, right. And so that's your challenge. So you're being effective when you do interact with her positively. The fact that the emotion's still there is quite normal. And that's not going to go away. I figure my daughter probably has quite high emotion over my reaction to her being late for curfew. That might still be part of her life, I don't know. But I expect her to be frustrated over that, because that wasn't a good time for us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that part's okay, and you are practicing opposite motion all the way.
Okay.
You really are, but don't get frustrated that you still have that emotion, because your emotion isn't right or wrong. It occurs, and you gotta allow it to go. Because emotions are overlaid. You want to practice the kindness, that's your motivation, and you can experience several emotions at once. That's just normal. That's how it happens. That's how life happens. But never say you don't. If you feel it, it's okay. Emotions aren't wrong. They are. There are reactions. Anybody else have something they want to say about anger and opposite action?
I think my anger manifests mostly when I'm hangry.
Hangry?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the prompting events, yeah. Are we hungry? Are we tired? Are we sleepy? You got to take into account your vulnerabilities.
Yeah, I just have to be patient because I'm not starving. That's my opposite action, just be patient.
Yeah, you're not starving, it's not the end of the world, yeah. things you gotta be aware of. So, and then somebody want to do sadness?
If we have time.
Yeah, we'll go over it real quick, we got time. And then we'll go over what our homework is supposed to be. So sadness. Sadness fits the facts when you lost someone or someone permanently. Things are not the way you want or expected or hoped them to be. So opposite actions for sadness.
Stay active.
Stay active, that would be a good one. Yeah, that's one of the things that says get active, Stephen. Do the opposite of your sad action. Get active. Avoid avoiding. You know,
Exercise.
a severe example of this one, but avoid avoiding, like when my husband died, when I had to go to the closet and take care of his clothes. You know, avoid the avoiding. You know, you have to do it. You know, I know that's a severe example, but you know, avoid the avoiding. Build mastery. Do things that make you feel confident and self-confident. And you know, you gotta remember, building mastery is baby steps. Building mastery doesn't mean you take the whole giant step. You know, building mastery is the tiny baby steps. All the way opposite action for the sadness. Pay attention to the present moment. Don't get caught up in the past experience. You know, don't, when I put my baby girl down, when I put my Lacey down, you know, be in the present moment with it. You know, don't get stuck on the day I was in the vet's office with her and totally out of my mind with grief. You know, once again, change your body posture. You notice change your body posture is in each and every one of these things. So as I was saying, body posture is important. Your body posture talks to you immediately. That's, you know, we practice this, slouching and, you know, not slouching. And change your body chemistry by breathing and, you know, physical movements. Okay, for me, putting Lucy down was really hard. This was over a year ago now. It was a year in October. But one day, I have her stuff on the fireplace mantle, and I went and I saw it, and all of a sudden, I avoided the avoiding. I saw it, and I walked away because it was like, oh my God, I can't deal with this, Lucy. I don't have my, you know, and I realized I was having an overreaction to it. You know, yes, it still hurt that she was gone, but I went back and I looked at it, and just like you're talking about the anger, I let the sadness, the immediate sadness that went into me, I let that hit me. And I let the sadness play through. I actually, instead of avoiding looking at her I did look at it. And I let the sadness come. I looked at the box and what it represents. It represents my wonderful 17 years with Lucy. You know, there's a life there, there's memory there. You know, I was building mastery in my grief over dealing with the loss of Lucy. So once again, that's kind of an extreme situation, but that's the way to do it. Obviously, it doesn't have to be that extreme. Has anybody got something for sadness or?
Kitty died.
Yeah, Kitty died. That was kind of sad. So, but that's how you deal with sadness. So let's go on to what our homework's going to be for next week. So flip to the last tabs of your book where the homework is. And
Worksheet.
Worksheet 5, check the facts. And Worksheet 6. Now, you only got to choose one of them. I'm not going to make you do both of them. Worksheet 5 is check the facts. Worksheet 6 is figuring how to change unwanted emotion. And that's what we talked about in class today. So only one of those. Choose one of those for your homework next week, and we'll talk about it. Any questions on what I just decided? They're simple, straightforward worksheets. If you just go through them, it'll only take you a couple minutes.
So for worksheet 6,
Mm-hmm.
how would you go through this essentially? So you have your emotion name,
Your emotion
solution,
name, go through the diagram.
just like
you know.
circle the ones you
Yeah,
ended up
circle the
doing.
ones that you did, make notes on the side, and describe how you manage the emotion. Yeah, well, if you go to the next page, we got opposite action to emotion. You can go to that if you want to. So worksheet 7, if you want to incorporate that, feel free. Okay, and we'll go to that. So with that said, thank you guys. It was a long class. It was, I think, kind of complicated, but I want to know what you got out of today's class. Who wants to start? Okay, go ahead, Chrissy.
Well, it wasn't quite everything that was in here, but it was more like to just feel the emotion is okay too.
Yeah, feeling emotions, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, feeling emotions, okay. Steve, what did you get out of today's class?
Different emotions.
Hmm?
I learned about different emotions.
You learned about different emotions?
Just different emotions, like anger to sadness.
Anger and sadness, okay. Francis, Christine?
I mean, I think I learned that, well, last time I took this class, I kind of like thought opposite action was kind of silly. Because I was like, well, I mean, I get it, sure, but like, who's actually going to do that? I think taking it this time, I'm realizing that opposite action is a little bit easier than you think it is. Like, even if it's like small things, like, yeah, changing your body posture, I think is a big one that's like easily changes everything without it. So opposite action doesn't have to be as hard and cold as it sounds right at the back, but that it's like, it's small things, and that's how you end up changing it, even if it doesn't seem like it does it right away, you know?
Right. You know, and the baby steps are what builds mastery.
Yeah, love baby steps. I
Yeah,
had
baby
2 years
steps.
of baby steps, and now I'm taking full human steps now, but like, it was a really bad year of just baby steps getting out of bed, and it sucked telling people that, because I'm like, I'm just baby stepping right now, and they're like, what? And I'm like, never mind.
You knew what the baby steps were.
I knew
that's
what they
you-
were, I just was like,
Right.
you have to be patient with me. I'm not getting anything done at a normal speed anymore.
Christine, what did you get out of today's class?
It was a good reminder for me that opposite action is something you want to do. For some reason, I was remembering it as like things you didn't want to do, but there was a good reminder of what opposite action actually is, and refreshed that whole definition to me and what it actually is and what I want to do with it to help regulate emotions and bring down the intensity when needed.
Right. And what I get out of today's class, you practice opposite action a lot. You know, there's an intensity, but you even practice a lot at lower intensities. You know, like I practiced opposite action today because I was nervous. I'm being filmed today, and I was very nervous. But you know, I practiced opposite action and breathing. I got this. Relax. Just be myself. Give you guys what I normally do. You know, so opposite action can be subtle, like you're kind of alluding to. So, you know, so once again, I thank you guys for everything. Look forward to next week. Any comments?
No, it was a good class, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Look forward to seeing you guys next week.